Hi, welcome everyone. We're here with Florida Closing and Escrow and BOW Brokers, Opens and Tours worldwide. And our topic for today is FIRPTA and assisting buyers and sellers at closing. So we're going to start with John Iowanu and giving us some information about FIRPTA.
All right, thanks. I'm going to try and maybe share my screen.
The form is up, so.
Okay, so basically what is FIRPTA? FIRPTA is the Foreign Investment in Real Property Tax Act. So it's a tax on foreigners who own property in the United States. So the first question realtors have to ask their seller is, number one, are they a U.S. citizen or a U.S. resident? If they are, FIRPTA does not apply. If they're not, FIRPTA does apply. So then the next question we have to ask is, and we have to ask this of the buyer, does the buyer have definite plans to use the property as their residence? Now, what does residence mean? So we look to the left-hand corner of this handout where we have the asterisk, and it says, the buyer or a member of their family must have definite plans to reside at the property for at least 50% of the number of days the property is used by any person during each of the first 12-month periods following the date of the transfer. When we count the number of days the property is used, do not count days that the property is vacant. So basically that means is the buyer is going to use the property more than they rent it. If they're going to use it to rent, then the answer is it cannot be their residence. So then we go back to the middle of the flow chart. And if they're not going to use it as their residence, this is an investment for the buyer, they're going to rent it and not use it. Then we go to the no answer. And we as a title company have to hold 15% of the purchase price, not the profit, not what the seller is getting. It's 15% of the purchase price we have to withhold from the seller at time of closing. And so when that happens, it is imperative on the seller at that point to hire a FIRPTA accountant so the accountant can file the proper and necessary IRS documents, which includes the 8288, prior to closing. If the FIRPTA accountant does that and they file the paperwork prior to closing, we can hold the money in escrow until the IRS responds to the seller or seller's accountant, advising them exactly how much money is due on the sale. If the accountant does not contact us before the closing and they're preparing the paperwork after closing, we must send that money that we withheld, the 15%, to the IRS. And then the accountant and the seller have to get the refund directly from the IRS and not from us. So it always behooves the seller to hire an accountant beforehand because it's easier to get the money from us than the IRS, obviously. So then if we go back to the top or the middle of the flow chart, and the answer is yes, the buyer is going to use it as their residence. They're going to either use it as a second home or they're going to live there. Then the next question we ask, so we go to the right of the flow chart. The next question we ask is, what is the sale price? If the sale price is less or $300,000 or less, then if the buyer completes what's called a FIRPTA affidavit exemption form stating, swearing under oath, that they're going to use the property as a residence and not rent it, then zero withholding is required. We do not have to withhold any money from the seller. The IRS has this law that says if it's under $300,000, we don't need the tax. If it's above $300,000, but less than $1 million, and the buyer is still going to use it as their residence, we have to withhold 10% of the purchase price instead of 15%. So above 300,000 and less than a million, we have to withhold 10%. If it's over a million, regardless of whether the buyer is going to use it as a residence or not, we have to withhold 15% of the purchase price. So this is the flow chart. We've simplified it here, so it's real easy. If you do have a question about this, feel free to contact us. But Cindy can post this this flow chart online somewhere or send it out in the chat. And if you have any questions, or if you do have a seller that's a foreigner, send this form to them so they understand exactly what's going on. If you have any additional questions, of course, feel free to contact myself or Anthony at Florida Closing and Escrow. Thank you.
And John, what if the buyers and sellers are not present for the closing? If you can go into a little more detail about that.
Yeah, so signing and how to sign and where to sign, Anthony is going to take that question.
Yeah, so for signing, we have various signing options for both buyers and sellers. For a buyer in a cash transaction, all documents can be signed electronically. They're sent through a service. It's very similar to how the contract and offer are signed electronically. So it's just sent through a service via email, and you just go in and you electronically apply your signature. It could be done through any device with internet access, so a laptop, computer, tablet, even your phone. For a buyer with a loan transaction, that one gets a little more involved because there's a lender. So depending on what the lender approves, there's different options. So if the lender approves a remote online notarization, that's known as RON, in a RON signing, essentially you log into a portal where you do an identification check. You have to use your social security number, and once you're verified, you'll be basically like in a Zoom or a FaceTime video with a Florida RON notary, and you'll conduct the signing through there, and everything will be signed electronically, and the notary seals will be applied electronically. Sometimes the lenders require a actual wet signature on some of the documents, usually the note and the mortgage. And in that case, they could do a modified version of RON that's known as RIN, R-I-N, Remote Ink Notarization. And in that process, basically, you actually wet sign all the documents on that video call. Then you place those documents into an overnight envelope, which you then send to the notary. And then when they receive it, then they apply their seals, and then off to the lender, all the documents go. We can also, for sellers that are out of the country, we can also do a RON signing for them as well for any seller documents. The seller documents always have to be signed and notarized because the deed, as well as any other affidavits, need the notary and a wet signature. And we could do this same process with a remote notary. For individuals who are foreigners that don't have a social security number, since you do need that for the verification process, it doesn't mean you can't do it. We just have other protocol that we need to follow to get it done. There's an additional affidavit, and we need someone else to attend the session along with you so that we could skip that identification portion of it. And as always, we also have the traditional options. Wherever you're located, we could send you out a package with the forms, or we could send them via email, and you could print them out at your convenience, and then just go over to a local notary wherever you're located at, and that will work as well. And then you just overnight the documents back to us. In a foreign country, you can go to an embassy. I know there's issues with lots of embassies right now being closed, so you could also do a foreign local notary. There's just another document that we would need as well. It's called an apostille. It's basically just to certify that it is an authentic notarization. But there's many different options. There's many different individual circumstances depending on the specific transaction. But we'll definitely always try to figure out a solution that's more convenient to everyone involved. And you don't have to be here in person. We can make it work wherever you're located at.
Correct. And where are you seeing any of the foreign national buyers coming from now? Or sales, either way, John or Anthony?
South America, obviously, is always a big buyer.
Okay. And as you know, the Miami condo market is on fire. Sales have surged, and we are here at Florida Closing and Escrow to assist you from contract to closing, and we will help you either in the office, curbside, or we are digital, remote, paperless, wireless. We have mobile closers and can assist you in any location as needed. So to contact us, you can reach us at 1-800-FL-CLOSE or 305-720-2844. And we're here to assist you to conduct more successful closings with our professional team. And we are the only title company in Sunny Isles. And we also have several languages. In addition, we have BOW Brokers Opens and Tours Worldwide, which has the live simulcast opens and tours, which can also be targeted to different audiences. And we also have a team of associates as needed for financing, for real estate photography. We have the immersion tours, the 3D tours, virtual staging, and more. So we're here to assist you. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. We include the legal services. We include the escrow, contract draft and review, addendums. We'll set up LLCs at cost for you and more. So there's very many advantages to working with our team, which includes legal real estate experts, John Iwanu and Anthony Balaza. So we'll go back next week to our format of updates, including any COVID stimulus updates and other real estate news to keep you up to date and with cutting edge information and tools to help with your success. So anyone want to add anything for today? Okay, or else thank you for joining us and contact us to assist you with your next closing. Thank you. Florida Closing and Escrow and BOW.